Mobile, Alabama. A city built on river silt and secrets, where the magnolias bloom like funeral flowers and the past never stays buried. There's a tree here, gnarled, defiant, and whispering. Locals call it the Boyington Oak, but it is not just a tree. It's a witness, a monument, a curse. I'm your host, Stu Donald. Let's head to the Delta. In the 1830s, Mobile was booming. Cotton, commerce, and ambition filled the streets. Legend says back in 1833, Charles Boyington, a young man of 19 with ink-stained fingers and a poet's heart, shuffled into Alabama's port city intent on making his fortune. He'd moved down from Connecticut chasing his dreams and a girl named Rose LaFleur. But Mobile didn't take kindly to dreamers, especially those who get tangled up in murder. Charles shared a boarding house with his friend Nathaniel Frost. One day, Frost was found dead, stabbed and robbed near the Church Street graveyard. Boyington had been seen with him that morning and believed to be the last person to see him alive. That was plenty. The city turned on him. No alibi, no mercy. Just a swift trial and death sentence. They strung him up in Washington Square. No mercy, no physical evidence, just a rope and a crowd. But before the trapdoor dropped, Charles Boyington made a promise. From my grave, a tree will grow, and it'll prove I was innocent. Years passed. The city moved on, but then, from the dirt where Charles was buried, a live oak clawed its way skyward, twisted, defiant, like it had something to say. Folks say the tree moans when the wind hits just right, that it weeps when the moon is full, that if you stand beneath it long enough, you'll hear Charles reciting poetry to the dead, perhaps to Rose LaFleur. And what about Rose? She vanished. Some say she went mad. Others say she walks the cemetery at night, her shadow tangled in the oak's roots. Love and grief make strange ghosts. The Boyington Oak still stands, a crooked finger of accusation pointing towards the Delta sky, a reminder that justice doesn't always wear a badge. Sometimes it grows slowly and remains silent, but full of rage. In Mobile, the dead don't sleep. They wait. They whisper. And sometimes they grow. Well, that's the legend. So what are the facts? Charles Boyington was a printer who moved to Mobile in November of 1833. He did share a boarding house with Nathaniel Frost. Rose LaFleur, on the other hand, most likely did not exist. There is no record of her, and the name is a tremendous red flag. Rose LaFleur translates to Rose the Flower, a name not in the books in Mobile, Alabama, or anywhere else for that matter, save a modern Canadian flower shop. Boyington was indeed a printer who moved down from Connecticut, but he arrived with a bit of a reputation, mostly as a gambler. It has been speculated Boyington owed Frost money. The assumption that Boyington was indebted to Frost is a little sketchy. He may have in fact owed him money, but Boyington was charged with caring for Frost, who suffered from consumption, or tuberculosis. It is unlikely that he was long for this earth. It is also true that Boyington was the last person to see Frost alive. They were actually seen walking together in the area where Frost's body was found just prior to his slaying. Despite what the legend says, there was no hastily thrown together court proceeding followed by a quick lynching. Boyington was charged in May of 1834. He was convicted by a jury of his peers in November of that same year, and the execution was carried out in February 1835. Everything by the books. Peter Toller, a certified ISA arborist and the City of Mobile's urban forester, estimates the Boyington Oak is between 150 and 200 years old, which does satisfy our timeline. Toller says the taproot grows directly from where Boyington was buried, and most likely from the area where the deceased heart would have been, which is, in his own words, spooky. I was greatly aided in my research for this story by Mary S. Palmer's 2019 book, Boyington Oak, A Grave in Justice, available at Amazon, link in the description. So what do you think? Is the Boyington Oak truly haunted? Do you believe that Charles Boyington actually killed his friend Nathaniel Frost? Let us know your theories in the comments.
This here is the part where the talking dog asks you to click the like and subscribe button. Everybody loves it.